Alright everybody, welcome back. This is Thrifty Senpai, joined here with the Zeticus, also known as Legendinger. We have a hell of a matchup coming in for you as we have the undefeated Inevitable versus the winless Doubles Nooblords, however, featuring their full roster. How you doing, Zed?
Okay. Doing okay. Yeah,
That's
this is
fair.
gonna be an interesting one. The first time we're seeing the full power of the Doublesword Nooblords. Not only do they have Dub Drum back, I think they kinda are switching up some positions a little bit. I heard I'm Just Dan gonna be the new carry. Bonkrank in the top lane now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure your sources are accurate. That's what mine say as well.
My sources were the team themselves, so you never know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we played them in scrims last night, and we did see that as the roster they were lining up as. I think we're spending more time on the sixth ban than the other five combined.
I don't need more enemies.
As we see the double pinch on Tree.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that, especially the Senna can honestly go to both of them.
Really?
Interesting.
That is very unexpected. I thought for sure we were gonna see a first pick Udyr there. Vi played by both these junglers. Udyr played by both these junglers. I think this is probably the most interesting as far as like pick ban goes in jungle dynamic because both of these junglers, like all the other junglers, don't share a pool, but these two like play very, very similar champions.
I think I like AJS on the Vi more than the Udyr.
Really, I would say I like him more on the Udyr than the Vi.
I think it's gonna work with what their team's trying to do a little better. They're gonna look to set up, their mid and their bot.
Yeah, that is fair. Vi does have that additional gank pressure, however, not as consistent with the power farming ability. I really, really like the Tristana pick here.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
Honestly, I would have actually probably been like priority first pick. I think it's super strong on any team where your bot laner is willing to play AP carries and you have a mid laner who wants to play Tristana.
Right. Yeah, one of the most flexible picks you can get. And the Alistar, oh man.
Yeah.
We're gonna see some Hex Flash in today.
Yeah, I would say just absolutely enable Cal to do what he does best, like the high pressure dive roam play, just super tanky from his ult.
Yep, and then the Shen gonna go over to Bonkrank.
Yeah.
Gonna pick that up before the next round of bans because he does not have the deepest top lane.
No.
He does play a lot of the tanks.
Yeah, I like this. I really like this draft so far out of both teams. Actually, I think both teams have played this draft really smart. I think Bard really, really underrated support. I'm really curious to see how 30 does with this.
He's been playing it a lot. I think it works with this playstyle pretty well. He can just put up so much pressure wherever he wants.
Yeah, Bard hasn't and it's a really good pick for trying to match Cal on these roams.
Yeah, we saw Cal's roams. Honestly, both weeks were just insane. He had some he ganked top scuttle in game 1 this week.
Oh yeah, that's a thing. Like if you watch LCS, that is a thing.
Right.
That is a high level support thing.
Yeah.
But you have to be very like obviously the thing is that you don't always see it in SBL because your AD carry needs to be comfortable with that. Unfortunately, he's with Tree, who is not small brain. And interesting, we see the Udyr ban and the Elise ban. I definitely like the Udyr ban. We've seen Dub Drum playing quite a bit of it. Like I've seen him playing some of it and having a lot of success. Cho Poppy, hit the other top laner. God, let me just fucking gush here for a second about how much I'm so glad that we finally get an SBL with this style tournament draft because it makes drafting so much more interesting.
Right. God, you remember when we only had 3 bans? We used to have 2 bans back in the day, didn't we? Holy shit.
No, we had 3 bans.
Was it always 3? Okay.
As far as the SBL goes, we've always had 3 bans.
I meant just the league in general. I think there was 2 back in the day.
There was 2 back in the day, and they expanded the champion pool.
Yeah, I'm sad I never played. I didn't play it much after they went to the 3 and then 2.
I was saying, we see the Corki confirming that Tristana's going to go into the bot lane, and the Singed.
Interesting.
We got a Singed player here.
That's new.
I really like the Nocturne. I imagine he's probably going to go on the Stride Breaker, but like Nocturne Shen is an obscene amount of global pressure.
With the Ashe ult?
No way. Do it, my dude.
Oh.
Oh, I love it.
Oh my god, they have 3 globals and basically a
Wait.
global.
Oh my god, this is actually holy shit. It's gonna be Nocturne mid.
Oh, yes it is. Spicy.
It's
A
gonna be Karth jungle.
Karthus jungle.
I've seen Dubdrone doing a little bit of Karthus jungle. I actually like the Karthus mid a lot more for this team. But Karthus is definitely spooky. Just an insane amount of global pressure from this team. And like they have the Ashe and the Bard for engages. Um,
Yeah,
a
this is
lot
gonna
of
be a
like
high execution, like looking for
yes,
just picks and
yeah. I
crazy
am.
global stuff.
I real actually I like. I'm really curious to see. I think the two things that are gonna be the big things to watch here are hook resets from Inevitable, and then the bestest one on this Nocturne mid. I think those are gonna be like the two things to watch as like this game starts off.
Yeah, do you think they were like maybe thinking about the card this mid and they're like, well, we don't really like the Corki matchup. Is Nocturne better against the Corki matchup?
Um, so I don't know how the Nocturne Corki matchup particularly goes. The card this Corki matchup is a farm lane.
Sure, that
It is
makes sense.
100% a farm lane. Neither of them have kill pressure on the other. Uh, but it could be one of those things where they decided to go to it to opt for just because of comfortability. I know because Dubdrum has more matches on the Karthus, they can opt to go for that. Karthus jungle also clears a lot faster than Nocturne. So
Yeah, that makes
they
sense.
do have the option to just say, hey, I'm not gonna gank and I'm just gonna power farm like crazy. And use my ult for ganks.
Not a bad plan. Although they do have
Yeah.
the Shen and the Nocturne roams to kind of help out on the ganks.
Yeah.
That is a scary comp.
It is, and like the thing is that like, oh man, the only thing I'm not too sure about is like stylistically, it's a little weird because the whole point of Nocturne jungle is you want to push it, you push and roam, right? And Carlos is a little weird with that, like where he is definitely good at backing up with the roamers, but normally a lot of times when people do things like this, they want to have a they want another jungler with a point click CC, like a Vi or an Udyr. Um, Udyr tends to be not as much because he's a little like his on melee, kind of puts you a little too heavy melee, but like it lets you have just really, really strong pressure on forcing these fights. Like as when you push into the enemy jungle.
Well, let's talk about Inevitable's team a little bit.
Yeah.
I could see in a straight fight, they have a bit more of a traditional team. They got 3 real tanky characters, and then just a lot of
Ah man.
physical damage coming in.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of magic. Like Corky Singe does a lot of magic damage. Um, Corky's almost entirely magic damage, which is like really nice for like having another 80 carry. The only thing I don't like the Singe in this comp. I'll be just completely honest with like
That does seem like the weird one.
it is definitely the weird. It doesn't really bring anything into what you're trying to do here. Like you have 280 carries in Vi, so it's like okay, you probably want something like you want a beefy frontliner that can go in with Vi, or that can disrupt for your 80 carries. And Singe kind of does that, but not as well as a lot of other ones. But I have a feeling that's because his champion pool is just pinched. Like this is the first time we've seen 3 bans tossed at him with the Kled, the Cho, and the Poppy, and maybe that's just what we see.
Right, and they banned the Malphite, which is something I know he doesn't like, but he does play.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not actually a huge fan. Like, I don't think it's a Malphite team either, right? So like, I don't
No.
feel too sweaty about that because it's like, I mean, sure, Tristan Corky have the ability to go in. Like Malphite ult with the package is hot. It is really hot, but it's not like what you're itching for. I don't know. I guess like the ideal champion I could think of for this comp that wasn't banned would be like Scion.
Ooh. Yeah, that would be pretty nuts.
Yeah, I think Scion would be really good for it, or like a Gnar. Gnar would be good, but just like yeah, if you don't play it, I mean, that's what it is, right?
And I think that is kind of where they're at with that.
Yeah.
Like you said, 3 bans targeted.
Yeah,
And
no,
like,
that's the that's an interesting thing about this, where you have to sometimes pick, like, you got to be worried about picking people, like, even if they don't have priority picks, like, just like they're not a big player. You got to watch out in that later stage of the draft where it's like putting them 4th, 5th is a real cost.
Right. Alright, looks like a defensive setup coming out from Inevitable.
Oh yeah, you're not in this game, and Wang's not in this game. So
Right,
no
I'm not there
invades.
to say we're invading every game, no questions.
Yeah. I say, guarantee you, Zed's in the game. There is 300% more chance of an invade.
Yeah, we're at least talking about it. They
Yeah.
did get the D-Fort on the red. Don't think that's gonna matter. Yeah, looking pretty defensive here. You hate to see it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't think the interesting thing here is with like the level 1 to these teams, like whoever walks into the other one dies.
Yeah.
Is the weird thing. So it's just like, yeah, I guess no one wants to pull the trigger because whoever pulls the trigger is the one that gets shot.
I get it. I don't respect it.
That's fair. That is fair. that is an opinion I can respect.
Yeah, unfortunately, very standard level 1.
Oh yeah. No, nothing too surprising there though. Let's say. Oh man, Karthus starting on blue side, like Karthus jungle starting on blue side is gonna be very, very quick. Like his Gromp take is so fast. I love that is ideal. And
he's gotta be up there in clear time, right?
Yeah, he got nerfed a couple patches ago where they reduced his Q damage slightly, which does hurt his clear speed, but like it is significantly faster. Like as we see, like Doublesword is about to take his 3rd camp here, and AJS ran over to Wolves to go take his 2nd. Whereas Karthus should be able to do chickens and red before Scuttle spawn.
Yeah, it's gonna help him get that power farm. I assume he just wants to power farm to 6.
Yeah, in general. Like,
Unless
you're fine
really
at fighting
open.
off other junglers because your Q does so much damage, but like, you definitely are killing them. And Scuttle's kind of way more of a pain than you'd ever think about it because you don't have that hard CC.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of a longer process because you have to Q through the whole shield. Which I think will be very interesting. I think that, yeah, we're seeing Dub's going to opt to go for a 6th camp here, actually, over trying to contest that Scuttle.
If I know one thing about AGS, he's never gonna not.
No, Scuttle is big. Like,
Cal initiating on the bot lane, get a little poke onto Dan, is gonna walk out. I'm just waiting for Cal to flash, because I want to see those Hex flash plays, man.
Yeah, dude. Once he's flashed, like he's unlocked. You let him do the thing.
It's like kind of an interesting choice, does he want to save it to have the defensive flash, or does he want to just go all in aggro?
Yeah. Yeah, as we see bot lane coming up, Cal getting that Scuttle started, tree moving as well, as we're gonna have the team Scuttle as these waves are pushed up and ready. Could see a little action. That's kind of one thing that's like interesting is like normally a lot of times Karthus like against like a team like this where the higher CC and he doesn't expecting to have lane prio, you start on the other side so you can go ahead and get bot Scuttle.
Sure, that makes sense.
Oh.
But he is gonna get double scuttled.
Yeah, double scuttled. It's a lot of vision. Like that's the thing. Like it's not as big of a deal against someone like Karthus where they can clear to keep up, but like that's a lot of XP and you don't get to keep an option. Like you get better ideas like tabs on them. Where the jungler's at.
Worth pointing out is Dubdrum did tell AGS he was gonna show him what a jungle diff looked like in this game. I believe he said that a couple days ago, so
okay.
We'll have to keep an eye on that. We'll see.
Yeah. Maybe that's the watch, the matchup to watch instead of just the champion to watch, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
I think that's a reasonable point. Like that's also like you kind of also like there's a lot of like a fighting match here where it's like who gets to be who's second best SBL jungler. I mean, cause like fuck, dude, if it's what's the point of the SBL if we don't just pick the like every little fight we can? about
yeah.
arguing over whatever.
Yeah, you gotta start some shit with whoever.
Ooh, AJ's canceling his back. He's willing to donate a little more time to this. I don't know if Dan and 30 are aware, as this is getting a little scary. Cal's looking for it.
He's gonna find it, they're gonna jump in, but a good flash out from I'm Just Dan. Unfortunate.
Yeah. 30 was almost ready with the Q. If he would have had the tethered Q, that could have made the difference like from saving him flash, but like either way, good flash from Dan.
Right. They at least get something out of it.
Yeah.
I know AJS is probably pushing like we gotta just try it here.
Yeah,
So
you
it's
gotta
kinda
do
sitting
something.
there forever.
Exactly. Oh, very greedy.
Yeah, and he's gonna get chunked out for it.
I mean,
a lot.
Yeah, that is. I figured like at least he wanted to like shove the wave and reset here anyway. No, he already bought his Iron Spike. That is very odd because he just gave up jungle for his team, dragon for his team from that play.
Right. Dub's topside, although they don't know it. This dragon is just gonna melt.
Yeah.
The only one in the area.
Yeah, and he's just mostly there to say, hey, you gotta respect me.
Right.
Oh, see, that's what you want to do. First you want to do that with Nocturne, and then now when Quirky comes back, you ult onto his face and blow him up.
Yeah, and he doesn't have it, he's getting poked out.
Nope. Dub ganking top here. Singe gonna do Singe things though. Pops the ghost. Pops the insanity potion.
He's gonna come back in on Dub, and now he's chasing Dub out, and the bot's roaming up.
Oh my god, there was so much miscommunication there. I cannot believe it. Oh, that was
a little painful to watch.
They could have won that. They had 3 men there versus Corky, Singe, and Singe was
Right. Yeah, I don't know what was.
It was just the problem was that like Bestus was running for Mr. Tuesday because he was getting chunked, and he wasn't. So he was afraid, right? And he hits the blast code right as he realizes that Karthus is fighting Singe. And then Shen panicked because he's like, oh fuck, there's 2 people on Karthus, ult him. And Karthus was already like, I'm out of here, and flashed over the wall.
I think there's a lot of panic with tree and hook resets coming up.
Yeah.
But they weren't expecting that. And then,
yeah, I think there was a lot of panic, but like I think they could have turned that fight there really quick, and it would have been really big for them.
Oh, for sure.
But sometimes like there's just a little too much going on, and it's just not possible to calm that.
Yeah, there was a lot of things, a lot of people coming in unexpectedly. But in the end, still no kills. Gold pretty even.
Yeah, as what is probably the most tame of any of our starts in SBL games so far.
Yeah, how have we gone 8 minutes without a kill? Are we back in like season 2?
Like, yeah, dude. And like pretty even overall. We see a slight CS lead for the jungle on Nooblords, and we see Singed having like a 1-wave advantage here on Shen.
Yeah, the only real notable thing is that first dragon going over 2 inevitable.
Ooh. Alright. I like the oh man. Okay, this is interesting. So we have triple Ionian boots for the double for the Nooblords here.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, that's a really interesting pickup. I really like it for the option of like, it's a lot of ability haste very early. Item's very good. The summoner spell haste also very relevant. Really curious to see how that's going to affect timings. If we're going to see a situation here where they're going to be able to like make a play right before Dragon, have all their abilities up, and then try and do it again for Dragon.
Nooblords are kind of setting up like they wanted to fight over that crab, but they did have to let it go.
Yeah, I can respect that. I mean, like, I can respect what was going on there. Hooker Sets was looking for it, says, hey, let me see if we can get this. And then once they see everyone else there, they all shrug off as 30 dropping the Bard ult. Low auto's coming in on Hooker Sets, but it's not going to be enough for right now as the knockdown all comes in as well, though. Cal's going to take a lot of damage. Karthus ult coming in as well. Tree gonna blast the Singe. First blood over to Dan. Singe teleports in. Shen also coming through. TP coming out. Bard taking a lot of damage here as he's gonna die to the Singe poison. But we finally get a bit of action here as we got 2-1 over in the favor of the Doublesword Nooblords.
Yeah, there's a good call to go in from Bestest One. He did get, kind of dragged under the tower by the flash, but didn't matter because we had the Karthus out from way out.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked everything about that play there as we see they get on the board there. They got to kill Alistair before he hit 6. Like, that dive would have been insane if Alistair had 6, but he didn't, so...
Yeah, that was definitely good timing, good use of that kind of crazy global pressure they have.
Yeah, and I think that's what we need to see them do, right? That's what this team is built to do, is exert this global pressure.
Right, now that they're 6, they need to... This is when they have to be getting the kills.
Ooh. AJS claiming both the plates for solely himself there off that Rift Herald. A lot of gold as Cal, once again, finding himself in a really rough situation here. Roaming a little too early.
Yeah, just, I don't know, no vision up there. Just kind of walked into the bot lane.
Did you just get a spectator bug where there was a Caitlyn ult on that Shen?
No.
Okay, that was just me then. That was really weird.
Yeah,
I just saw a Caitlyn ult just tracking from like bottom right of the screen to the Shen.
Yeah, that's his blade.
Oh, holy shit. Yeah. I thought that was his blade. Okay, that was probably what it was. Yeah. It just, the way it looked tracking on my screen, I thought it was like, I wasn't paying super close attention to it. I was watching the minimap, and also I see this thing fly through. I was like, wait, is that a Caitlyn ult that was like tracking and just disappeared? That makes way more sense.
Top lane always looks so close to like something happening.
Oh yeah.
But it's pretty much just farm.
Oh my goodness, Corki putting a ton
with the ult.
Dubdrop, what are you doing?
That burst! Bestis is gonna pick that up, but yeah. The squishy Karthus can't just walk up to Corki. He can blow you up while he's running away.
The play was great until he turned around for one last Q.
Right. It's always that one last Q though.
Yeah.
That's always the one that gets you. The CP comes into bot from Bestest One. Excellent ult out of 30. They're gonna pick up tree. Hook resets, is gonna escape. Oh, he wanted that greedy journey.
They played out the Hex Flash from Cal, and Tree, expecting to follow up on it, just buffered the Tristana W, and they immediately turned on that.
Yeah, that well coordinated.
Yeah.
From Dan and 30. Kind of maybe the reason they moved Dan to the bot lane. Dan's been playing with 30 pretty much non-stop. As AJS comes into the top lane onto Bong Crank. Thundercunt's gonna dive the tower. Taunt not gonna buy him enough time.
That's not killing. That's not even close.
No, it wasn't. Wow.
Yeah.
His health bar did not move much.
No, dude. That was a suspect Karthus ult.
Yeah, a little desperate. And now he's not gonna have it up for a bigger fight later. That could be huge, because that's got a long cooldown early.
It has got a very long cooldown.
Let's take a look at that.
It's probably, at this point, he's got Lucidity Boots, so it's probably 2.25 minutes, a little longer than 2.25 minutes.
Yep.
So, I mean, it will be up in time for Dragon, which is the important thing, right? But it'll also be up in time for Herald if they decide they want to do that.
That is true. Yeah, Bestis roam down to bot. Not looking like he's gonna find anything with his ult, but AJS also kind of coming in there.
Yep. Little hovering around as we're dangerously close to losing first tower though, as this just picks up first tower, but he's taking a lot of damage here from the Bestis one. As now AJS Zero finds himself in a lot of trouble. As spectator cam spoils everything as it flashes. Yep. I fucking love that you can hide for something that's just like, here, let me show you Alistair headbutt pulverizing Ash. It's like, oh, well, I guess nothing else happens there.
I like that ult from 30 if you saw where he placed that. It kind of just, it stopped Mr. Tuesday from being able to run away. He had to just kind of wait it out.
Yep.
So there was no chance of an escape for him.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a really big thing on Bard, right? Like they don't always need to hit as.
Right. Sometimes it's better if they don't. Just the threat of them hitting.
Yep. Oh my god, that is what's disgusting about Alistar right there. Dude got CC'd under tower and took like 5 shots and is like, eh.
Yep. Does not
We
care.
good. Yeah, no. There's a reason why this champion is like one of the highest pick supports in pro play.
And when he's good, he's so good.
It really does seem to be the state of Alistar, right? Like he's either just so good or he's just non-existent.
Thunder count now 2 towers deep.
Just cinch things.
Yep.
A really wise man back in season 1 or 2 taught me how to play Singed. And it was very, very easy actually. He says, you do something and you say, should I do this in a normal game of League of Legends? If the answer is yes, don't do it. If the answer is no, that's probably what you should be doing.
Yeah, that tracks for sure. Speaking of which, the Singe's gonna go down there.
Oh man.
There's the big Karthus ult that we were looking for.
Oh, aggressive flash coming through. The Q's gonna fight with a Dan volley.
Gonna end up being a 4-for-1 for the Nooblords, just in time for the dragon to come up. They're gonna be able to take that uncontested as AJS is still back in the base.
As all of a sudden now, like, Doublesword Nooblords looking to be in a pretty comfortable position here. 1.5k gold lead. They have 2 dragons to their 1.
Yeah,
Still need to take a tower here, but like.
Well, Inevitable gonna answer back, take the Rift Herald. No vision for the Nooblords over on that, so I think they're gonna get it pretty uncontested.
Yeah.
Nooblords were kind of looking to reset.
I was saying, while we're resetting here, I want to point out some kind of surprising things, because I was looking at this and it was not what I was going to expect here. Oh, as we may have action? Okay. So, the biggest goal differences in the game right now are 30 has 900 gold over Cal on Alistar.
Oh,
Corki
has not found an assist yet.
Corki is 600 gold up on Nocturne.
How?
Plates.
Oh, yeah, he got his tower.
Yeah.
Most
And
of that was
Dubdrum
plates.
is 1.5k up on AJS0.
That one, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
AJS.
I mean, that's the vaulted 8 kills, 40 CS lead.
Yep. Nooblords still not able to find a tower though.
Yeah.
It's a little awkward for him, especially in this mid. They're kind of hard for him to push anything out here. Trying to keep their vision set up in the river.
Calvo, there's a lot of edge. And what is?
Who was?
That was for Hook. That was for Hook, and they're gonna get him. But they did not need that Karthus ult.
No.
And oh, but that Ash arrow from down fucking
Beautiful
town.
arrow.
Look where he is on that mini map.
What a shot! I bet he shot that at hook resets.
I can't. Yeah, I almost think he did.
And then he's like, "Wait, keep going. It's gonna hit."
Yeah. That is a beautiful arrow. Everything about that was absolutely beautiful, except that goddamn Karthus ult.
Yeah, as an expert on Karthus ults, I'm sure you have strong feelings on that.
I have, yeah. It's tough love. I'm excited to see someone besides me play Karthus and to get to cast it. I now know how Captain Flowers feels. Damn it. Okay. I now know how Captain Flowers feels whenever he gets to cast Skarner games. Like, I know that 100% now, because you're, like, so excited, because, like, one of your favorite fucking champions is being played, and you're like, yes, I get to see all the cool stuff. This is great. I'm so down for this. And whenever they fuck up that, you can't help but be like, you could do better.